Welcome to this week's episode of Stars, Cars, and Rollbars. I'm your host, Mike Kinney. And our episodes, we focus on so many aspects of this amazing culture I call hot rodding, whether it be the classic automobiles, those rare ones, the artists, celebrities, manufacturers, everybody in between. And we are really thrilled to have with us today Shan Fannin. She is out of Austin, Texas. And she is, look at my notes, she is a realist vehicle painter. Shan, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us.
It's great to be here.
And now for all the viewers, I'm going to remind you 2 or 3 different times, because in this technology age and some of the new movies, they have all that digital capability and they can just computer design stuff. And then you get in all the photoshopping and the editing that can be done there and touching stuff up. This is none of that. This is her hands at work. We're actually going to see some pictures of her hands at work. I believe we have those as well. Shan, the more you and I talk, I've had a chance to go online and look at some of your ability. This is fascinating. I think we got a couple of shots of you in studio, as we call it, and so you're actually, in this case, you're displaying some of your different pieces of art. So Rick, if you can pull those up, there we go. That's one of my favorite shots. That's just cool. What all's going on there, bud?
Well, those were actually going to a show called Freewheeling, the Allure of the Automobile in Contemporary Art. And those 3 pieces were selected for being in there with international artists that paint vehicles. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. That was for last year. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I just love the pose, because with that smile on your face, you're in your zone, girlfriend.
That's a look of confidence right there.
Absolutely. And I think we have a couple of more of these as well. Is that a Mercury? What is that?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a Mercury Monterey, and
Monterey.
that one, we're in Best of Show. That was in 2016. My husband and I were actually at the Goodwood Festival Speed in the UK, and I got a call at like 2 a.m. saying that I'd won Best of Show. So that was pretty awesome.
Well, yeah, and that is not a small piece of art, because you know you're not like really short in stature, so that puppy's pretty good sized.
Yeah, that's I believe that's a 4x6, 4 feet by 6 feet, and I would like to paint even bigger than that.
Really?
But then, of course, but then shipping, across the world, where that it gets a little bit pricey. So,
Wow. Oh my god! Because even 4x6, that's a whole bunch of canvas to be working with. And I think we got one more, Rick. I got to be candid. This is what triggered my interest in your art. I saw one of your posting on, it might have been on LinkedIn, and you'd got a recent award, I believe, and my breath was taken away when I saw this, Shan. Give us some insight on this.
Thank you.
That's gorgeous.
So this was actually so every now and then I will barter with a photographer, and one of the people that love my work happens to be one of my collectors, and they went on vacation and they took a photo of the plane that they were on. And it was this, and he'd sent me a couple of images, and I said, "Oh, I love that. I'd love to paint it." And so when I was almost done with it, he says, "I want to buy it." So not only did he get me the photo, but he collected it. So yeah, this one was fun. So some of my pieces are really, they just fall into, they just are so easy. And this was one of those where
Really?
I just held a brush and it painted itself. Yeah, some of them are like going to the dentist and having all your teeth pulled out, but not this one.
And I have heard from artists in many different genres that a lot of times, like you're saying, yeah, Rick, you can pull us back up for a minute, is that, whatever their media that they're using, said, well, it just kind of did it itself. I was along for the ride, right? So it sounds like that's occurred with you with a couple times, and that's got to be kind of a special feeling as well.
It is. It's almost like the time just goes by so fast, and others where I usually, as you'll see behind me, I usually do about 3 to 5 paintings at one time.
Really?
Because if I get really stuck, if I get stuck on one, and I just driving me crazy, then I will go to another. And so, sometimes they're easy, sometimes, most of the time not. So, yeah.
That's an interesting approach, because I've run a lot of different articles, and I help leadership on some of their programs. And if I get stuck on something, I'll get away from it for a day or two, right? and then
Right.
go back with
Right.
a fresh set of eyes. Now, we're talking about painting in your hands. And Rick, I think we've got some notes. There we go. Now, I noticed, now with some artists, we never name names, usually, they'll have like a nice white linen shirt on, some nice colors. You're looking kind of scruffy, and I mean that in a nice way. It's like there's as much about paint on you as on the canvas. What's going on with this, bud?
I was a messy kid too. Yeah, so you'll see these artists online or in a magazine. They're always wearing like the white linen. They look so great. Not me, man. I go and I get old hospital scrubs, and I'm very messy, and I have no problem with wiping my hands on me because, as I said, I paint with my palms, like right there. I paint with my palms, fingers, and brushes, and I have no problem just wiping it all over. And it's like you're wearing pajamas all day anyway, so. Yeah, I love it.
I love that shot right there, because I think about every color in the rainbow is on your palm and your fingers right there. So how do you get all that paint off your hands?
Just washing. I have got like, I've got something with like pumice in it. You just clean it off. It's fine.
Got it. And if I got to look at my notes, and I think you're saying you started with mud pies. Is that kind of part of your strategy?
I always say that. I used to make mud pies as a kid. I loved it, and I have a thing for foods that you can fold, like egg rolls or wontons, things like that. And so I'm messy. I love it. I love getting messy. So.
And I really like your mantra. Look at my notes here. It's share joy, give back, and make messes.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, and just like the give joy part, we're going to be talking about in a little bit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to go into what I really have been looking forward to all week for this episode. We're now going to see examples of some of her cars. So, Rick, I think we got a few we can talk about. Tell me about this, and where did you find all that amazing lighting for the car?
So this actually was at the Mecum auction, and it was, this had to have been 2017, I think, maybe 2018. Okay. And we had gone, my husband actually is my photographer most of the time.
Sweet.
And and so we were there, and I just love that intense lighting of a warehouse. A lot of my paintings are created with the vehicle outside, but there's just something about that intense warehouse lighting that I love, and the reflections. So, yeah.
Wow, that is breathtaking. And if I recall, because I'd seen a couple of your posts on YouTube, you usually have yourself or your husband in the art somewhere. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the bottom bumper right there is, I believe that's me photographing this, and so it's distorted, but I know it's me. So I've had folks say, well, you should paint yourself. I said, well, actually, I am in most of these. So. Yeah.
So I think we got a couple more cars here. Oh my God. Now, if my eyes don't deceive me, this is a good looking Testes, we call them. Is that a Testarossa?
Yeah. Look at those fins. My gosh, those fins, right? It's just so sexy. I have a style. There's a lot of artists in my industry that like to paint the entire vehicle. I actually prefer to paint aspects of the vehicle. I think sometimes we take parts of a car, or just cars in general, as an appliance, and to me that is a rolling piece of art. Yes. A designer, or a team of designers had to come up with that beautiful vehicle that we drive, and so to me, I try to capture that beauty on canvas and through my paint. So, but yeah, to me, it's funny. My husband will say, and I have a couple of friends that will say, they'll see one of my paintings and they can tell areas that I really enjoyed painting. And for this piece, it was the fins really did it for me.
Oh yeah, oh my God! And for the viewers, this is not a picture. When I first started sending all this to my producer, Rick, and he goes, man, these are some great pictures. And then he went, oh. I said, yeah. So that's when, especially the fins on that test day, they just give us this great power look, going 300 mile an hour sitting still. But the way you captured, though, they're straight, they're great perspective, they're evenly spaced. Well done, bud. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, I say that I create paintings with 3 different things. I've got caffeine, patience, and some cursing. So, those usually get me through.
It's kind of like me working on hot rods. Well, I think we got a couple more car pictures. Wow. Is that a GT?
Yeah, it's a Ford GT. That was
Yep.
one of the ones that won Team Ganassi in Le Mans. And we actually, my husband and I went to Goodwood in 2016, and I
Nice.
saw this vehicle. It was a different number, but one of my collectors actually is friends with folks at Ford, and some of the folks at Ford got me some other photos, and now they have a few of my prints of this. But yeah, that was really, really fun. And this is actually one of the paintings where, as you can see, the vehicle is realist.
Yes.
And then the bokeh, the blur behind, that's where my style is gone, where I have that push pull. I really
Yeah.
enjoy that. And I like, there's things behind, like I believe there on the right side of that is maybe like a BMW or something, but
Right.
I wanted that. So it just alludes to the background, but I don't want it to
Yeah.
detract from the vehicle.
And candidly, if you looked at this with your eye, you're going to see more focus on the GT versus what's in the background anyway.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what else
It's
we got, Rick?
fun stuff.
Whoa, and I am an old-time hot rodder, or at least old, and girlfriend, do I like flames? You kind of knocked it out of the park with this one. Wow.
Yeah, I love the flames too. And I like if you look in the bumper there, you can kind of see, we were at a car show here in Austin when I photographed this, and you can see the folks in the reflection there. But and I love that. And they're all distorted. My thing is chrome. I'm very blessed. I love painting chrome. It's not easy, but it's a lot easier for me than carbon fiber because of the reflections.
Yeah.
And I'm also a big flame fan. I have bowling shirts and sneakers with flames on them. So yeah, love it.
So you got the flame sneakers as well. And so, some viewers, they say, well, I'm not really into cars. I'm kind of a bike person. Well, I think we have some examples of that for those viewers.
Yeah.
That's what I like about this. Well, number one is Harley Davidson, so you can almost stop there. But this is obviously an older vintage, and to me, you did such a great job capturing just the antique look of this, or the antiquity.
Right. So so you'll see a lot of areas that look very abstract, like that tank. I painted that with my fingers. I have a medium that I put on my hands called liquid glove, and I will put that on, and it protects my hands, and then I will smear the acrylic paint that I use, and that's how I got that. And it's fun, I use and I use like an old toothbrush for a little bit of splatter, and so it's funny. So that tank right there, even though it appears blue, there's actually brown, purple, yellows. There's pinks in there. Yeah, so you would never, it's like when I paint, like let's say I paint a red car. It might be a red car to your eyes, but it's really not. There's, oranges and browns and purples and things like that to make it appear red, or whatever the surrounding is. That is a lot of times it affects what colors I use. So yeah, this one was fun.
And we're going to get into reds a little bit here, just a little bit later in the show, but we got a couple more bikes. Indians, hello. That's kind of the mecca to me. And this one's simply stunning. Wow.
Thank you. Actually, this one, Best of Show, I cried when I found out I won a Best of Show for the International Guild of Realism last year with this. And that was huge for me. It was, every now and then, as an artist, we get to a point, it's like, well, what am I doing this for? Does anyone even notice? And then when you get that pat on the back, it's like, oh, wow, okay, I'm in the right direction. So that's how I felt with this. This actually, I photographed this. The gentleman wasn't by his bike. It was at a car show here in Austin. And that tank and the reflection and the folks that were at the show, it just all came together for me. And and I will say motorcycles are a lot more difficult to paint than cars for me.
Really?
I think it's probably because there's a lot of colors in that tank to get that kind of a patina. But it's much more, motorcycles are a lot more challenging, but they're fun. They're just different kind of challenge. So
and I think we got one more motorcycle. Wow. I love the way you captured the light on that turn signal, or the running light. That's just,
I know. Isn't that crazy? I just
Yeah.
love that. It's so bright and in your face. So my husband and I now we're empty nesters, and we try to take a vacation every couple of years. We've saved up for it to
Yep.
go someplace in the world for vehicles. It was Goodwood Vestal Speed, and this happened to be in Rome. And I
Hmm.
was walking down. We were, walking down the street and saw this bike. It had just rained. There was a little bit of mud on the tank, and you can see in the tank there's a reflection of myself taking a photo of it, and my
Yep.
husband playing with his phone. So he was
Wow.
looking for directions there. So
Two. That's amazing. And we're far from done with this, viewers. I think we got a couple examples of some trucks. Now, before we jump into them, I want to talk a little bit more about red, because I've got, I kind of like the color red. I wear the color of the red on my show for my bowling shirts. And I always thought, like red is red is red is red. But in talking to you before the show, you said, well, sometimes you're using 12, 13, 14 different colors to get red?
yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's odd. Your eye, I think it is with vehicles, what I paint,
Yeah.
because I guess you'd say photorealist artist. If I
Yep.
make something wrong, your eye is going to know. If you're a car person, you're going
Yeah.
to know. So, red, I paint a lot of red. I don't know why, like
There you go.
that. But like this, so this has purples and pinks and blues and oranges.
Oh
I
my
think there might be
goodness.
some browns in there. Actually, I know there's browns inside the cab. There's browns. So, yeah, there's a lot of color. My palette, when I get done, it's a mess. I mean, it looks like a rainbow. But yeah, and red cars. There's just something about it. We go to vehicle shows. Red just stands out. Like that iconic, Ferrari from the '90s or whatever.
Yes,
They
yes.
just jump out at you. So yeah, I do a lot of red. I don't do it on purpose. I find a car that I love and I fall in love with it, and I say, okay, I'm going to pick that. So
And I think there's
this
interesting.
one was one of my.
Yeah, I think there's an
I said, go
interesting
ahead.
story with this truck that's on screen right now, right?
Yeah, this is one that I instantly fell in love with, and this, well, we'll talk about dream cars, but this one, something about a Chevy truck with all that grill, it looks like a smile to me. So we were at a show, and if you look in the grill there, you see it was an orange UT shirt, and a gentleman was wearing white shorts, and I photographed it. Yeah, and he found me later on, and I got him a print of this, but. We've become friends. The gentleman that owns this, his name is Mike also. So
There we go.
yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
know.
So, and the people, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I know I'm going to like him already if his first name's Mike. I mean,
Right? Well, I will tell you, the folks who own that big airplane that we showed earlier, they're
Yes.
the ones that own this truck. And this
Really?
is a 5-foot painting. Yeah, that's a 5-foot Chevy truck.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's almost life size. Wow.
Yeah, it's big. It's
So-
big.
So I
That
got to
one's
ask,
fun.
on a piece of art like this, how many months does it take? This it looks like it'd be a really big investment time to create something.
No, actually, no.
Really?
Not really. I mean, it depends. Yeah, it really depends. So like that, I've done a giant painting in a week. This one I think took me this one was a little bit older. This one I did, I finished it in January of 2016. And I was asked, the funny thing about this real quick, this painting got to go into the Austin Bergstrom International Airport.
Really?
And because of, so it was on display there. And, it's a 4-foot by 5-foot painting. It's big. And a gentleman came into town that saw this and contacted me and asked me to do a show at Amelia Island. And that was my first solo show.
Wow.
Yeah. So you never know. You never know where things are going to take you. So I was honored just to get it in the airport. So
Well, then Amelia Island, that was probably the Concours event with Bill Warner, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I did this with a company that had auctioned off vehicles, and I brought my work out there. And actually, because of that, there was a gentleman that was being awarded by Lamborghini for his Miura,
Perfect.
and so yeah, he found me, and I painted that also. So that's pretty cool.
That's very cool. And going back to my notes about sharing joy and giving back, number one, this is breathtaking. Anybody that has the courage to paint a fire truck, in this case, an engine, because that's a whole bunch of truck. I mean,
Yeah. That is a whole bunch of truck. So the story with this is, this was my way of saying thank you to our first responders.
Okay.
Because of the pandemic, nobody was doing anything in the beginning of the pandemic. And my husband one night was having excruciating pain. I couldn't get him into the car. He was in so much pain, and I had to call 911. And we've been married 32 years. I never had to, I hope I never have to again
Yeah.
call anybody. But they came, and he had what was it, a 10 millimeter kidney stone and an appendicitis all at the same
Oh
time.
my stars.
And yeah, it was pretty bad. And the first responders were absolutely phenomenal, and they put my mind at ease. And so this is my way of saying thank you to them. And as you can see, I like the crazy angles. I wanted it to look like it was coming out at you. They were on
Yes.
their way, to come and help somebody. And so, yeah, that was my way of saying you
So
guys are amazing. Thanks so much.
I got to ask you, how did they respond when they realized what you were presenting them with?
They liked it. They liked it. I gave them a print for it, and
Cool.
they were pretty happy with how it turned out too. So
And the depth of field you have on that looks phenomenal as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all my viewers, duct tape yourself to your favorite lawn chair. Hold on to whatever you're drinking. These are not photoshopped. This is the real deal. It's what I call attention to detail. And this has probably become the most favorite thing I've ever seen in my life, or art, sorry, same thing. Favorite piece of art I've ever seen, ever. Okay, I got to quit saying ever too many times. But when I first saw it, I thought it was a photo. And I said, oh, this is what she's going to work off of. And then I kept reading. I said, oh my, this is the results of your efforts. How in the world did you ever how did you ever pull this off? This is stunning.
thank you. Well, first of all, that yellow that's in there, that's my shirt. I'm also wearing yellow chucks that day. So yeah, so as I said before, you can see myself
Yeah.
and many of my paintings. So this
Wow.
one, I have a friend here in Austin who is a GT3 driver, Mr. Mosing, and he owns a business that has vehicles, and his assistant, is a great guy. He knows I'm always looking for new vehicles to paint. He called
Yeah.
me and he said, I've got a 454, and would you like to come look at it? And so the Corvette was amazing. It's a gorgeous vehicle, but because of the day being so beautiful and sunny, I was just struck by these extremely clean chrome
Oh
wheels,
yeah.
and I love the abstractness of it. And so
Yes.
this one was really challenging because so the funny thing about what I do is that we know that tires and headlights and things like that are spherical, they're a circle. But
Mhm.
when I go to paint them, they're not. They're usually an ellipse. And I have a tendency to round things off. And so my husband, at the end of the day, while I'm working in my home studio, he'll come in and he'll say, oh, nope, you rounded that. Nope, you did it. It always makes me frustrated, but he's always right. Ugh. But yeah, so this one, what I did is I work from an 8x10 photo,
Oh
and
my
I
goodness.
grid things out, and I also will have it up on my computer screen for in details. And so what I'll do is I will usually flip my canvas around, upside down or sideways, and I will stop focusing on what my eyes see,
Uh-huh.
or no, excuse me, what my brain thinks I see and what I really see, and
Wow.
that helped with this one.
So
Yeah, that
how
helped.
big is that original piece of art?
This is 2 feet by 3 feet. So this one's actually that is not small, but that's probably the traditional size that I
Yep.
usually work with.
That's
But like I said, my heart,
Oh,
my
yeah.
heart is usually happier when I'm working really big.
Well, I think we got some more big stuff coming here for King of Segway. And if there was one shot, if you will, that we have in the show to illustrate very clearly your stunning capability. On the left-hand side, that is you with the car. And on the right-hand
Right.
side above where it says my painting, that is the results of your efforts, right?
Right. Yep.
Wow.
That's it. That's how it. So that's a great example. We go to these shows, or we'll travel someplace. I'll see a vehicle that I fall in love with.
Yeah.
And it's odd, something that someone will, whatever, that's a taillight, or a hood ornament, or a door handle, or whatever. People won't find it fascinating, but to me, a lot of times it has to do with the atmosphere around it, the lighting, the color of the car, the patina, that sort of thing. And I just connected with this one. And this is one of those ones where it was really easy. It was
Wow.
really easy to paint. I wish they were all like this. And there on the bottom right, you can see how the building that's reflected is all distorted. I love that.
Yes. Yeah. And which it would be just because the chrome is not flat. Okay, what else
Right.
we got, Rick? We're going to hit. Whoa. Now, we talked about Chrome earlier. This one just, because it appears you're telling a story here, right?
Right, right, right. So I call
Okay.
this one anticipation. I call this one anticipation.
Okay.
We were at the Circuit of Americas. We have the F1 track here in Austin, which I'm extremely fortunate because we get to go to shows and all kinds of great
Sweet.
events, MotoGP and things like that. This happened to be a track day, and the gentlemen were all taking breaks by their cars and chatting. And I happened to walk by and I saw the gentleman's helmet and his goggles, and it looked to me like, he's ready to go. And so I snapped it really quick, and that's my hand in that. I just grabbed my phone as quick as I could. But I just love the reflections. There's just absolute craziness and chaos going here. The Cobra had a bit of a what do you call it? A bit of a not frost, pearlescence to the paint, and so you can see little
Right.
dots of the sun.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. That was a really fun, crazy painting, but I loved it.
What's fast when I look at that would be the driver's left lens for his goggles that are on the helmet. That's your cell phone with your fingers.
Yeah, yeah, little crazy looking. Yeah, isn't that fun? I just had so much fun. I actually would like to do some more gear, driving gear, gloves and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that. But it's one of those situations where right place, right time. We'll be somewhere and I'll see something. Thank goodness for phones nowadays. We have amazing cameras in our pockets,
Exactly
and that
correct.
allows me. Yeah, I mean, I've been out to lunch or something and seen someone's I don't know, whatever car, and I gotta get a picture of that. And so I have a ton of photos just like that, where right place, right time. So
Very, very cool. And we have one more in this detail. This my jaw just kept hitting the floor, and I'm going, "What?" Now for a piece of trivia, those fins, Gene Winfield took one of those fins, put it inside a radical custom he was building, and turned it into a console piece inside the car.
oh wow,
And the
oh
tail and
wow,
the taillights operated inside the car.
what? That's amazing.
Yeah. So,
I love it.
yeah.
I
So
love it.
so maybe was this at another of the Mecum auction or something? Because I see all the lighting in the
Yeah.
ceiling. Okay.
Yep, same time as that other Chevy. Same thing. Just that those tail lights. My gosh,
Oh yeah.
how amazing are those? I see it, just so gorgeous, so gorgeous. And so this is a great example. So the abstract area on the bottom hood, or excuse me, the bottom bumper, the
Uh-huh.
floor, that's all painted with my fingers.
Oh my goodness.
So I love to, yeah. So I love to smear that, and then I'll come back in, after I've gotten the background and I've gotten smeared areas, and then I'll come back in with my brushes and do that. So this one is a fun balance to me because there's a lot of abstractness going
Yeah.
there with the reflections, but then you can really see the crisp tail lights. That's that
Oh yeah.
realism jumping through. So yeah.
Now, is this the original color of the car?
No, this was actually the car itself is more of a faded baby blue, and I don't know
Really?
why, but yeah, I don't know why, but I like that crazy blueberry color. So, and I also thought it's hard to see here, but the back window, I love it when older vehicles, and I'm sure there's a special term for it, or reason why, when the glass turns a bit of that teal color. I
Oh, yes.
love
Yep.
that.
Yep. Wow.
I love that. And so some of my vehicles, like that Chevy earlier, they have that little bit of teal tinting in the window,
Very,
and
very
I
cool.
absolutely love that. So I love those two colors together.
Now, we got one last picture, but then we'll go back to talk. So, Rick, pull this up, and I think this has got to be one of your favorite cars, right?
That's our car.
That's your car.
This is Maybelline. Yeah, so this is Maybelline. Maybelline is a 1961 Ford Thunderbird convertible.
Nice.
So my husband and I were, I'd homeschooled our kiddo. I had been a marketing director. I owned a mural business, and so I didn't know what I wanted to do. My husband encouraged me to take a couple art classes. That was in 2022, 2023, and right around then we got Maybelline here and started doing car shows. She's been around the F1 track twice with F1
Nice.
drivers. Yeah, so that was pretty awesome. And because of her, we started going to car shows. And he challenged me. I believe it was in 2014. He challenged me to paint a car. I'd taken a couple of community college art classes,
Okay.
and I didn't think I could. I didn't think I could do it, but I did, and absolutely fell in love with the culture and the vehicles and the
Beautiful.
stories. And so yeah,
Wow.
so we still have Maybelline. We have quite a bit of kitty litter.
Well, that's right. They like to mark their
stand by.
territory. Yep, stand by.
That's right.
Yeah, so
That's
Rick,
right.
go ahead and bring us back up and I kind of forgot on the intro because I got so excited with all this artwork. You are associate member with the distinction of the American Women's Artists, right? You're signature member of National Oil and Acrylic Painters, Allied Artists of America. Let's see, Best in Show, Best Competition a whole bunch of times. Amelia Island, Denver, Colorado, Austin, Texas, group exhibition participation over 100, and publications and media where you've been the author or you've been discussed with like keynote speaking things to do, north of 60. So this is not your first rodeo, correct?
Well, I love to be able to help other artists. When I started out, I didn't know anything about what I'm doing. I don't have a degree. The art world is a mystery a lot of times. And so if I can help with some of the things that I've learned from marketing standpoint, every now and then I'll put out a video also about some supplies that I use and things like that. So if it helps other artists, I'm good with that.
So I got to ask, as an artist, and I'm not being flippant, I'm really curious, how do you know when you're done with a painting?
You get to that point, it's like, okay, I just added that. Did I overwork it?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what I do. So as I'm painting, I will take a photo, usually every day or every other day, of what I've done.
Really? Wow. Okay. And so you get it. So you see where you're at. Got it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting towards the end of this episode. I want to thank Shan Fannin. You got to check her out. Her work is absolutely amazing. She is a realist vehicle painter. Until next time, as we travel the United States, we got a whole bunch of museums coming up. This season's really starting to get very, very interesting. Until next time when we're together, enjoy the ride.